You chose absolutely right, tuning into Rwanda television tonight. Welcome to our tonight's edition. This is a sneak peek of what is coming up. The Senate has decided to increase the capacity of the Rwanda Mines, Petroleum and Gas Board on matters pertaining to the capacity and research. Ahead of the 23rd EAC Heads of State Summit, which will take place in Arusha, Tanzania, what tops the agenda and what should regional citizens expect from the meeting? We'll come back to this. A very good evening to you, and thanks for your company tonight on Rwanda Television News. And as we begin this edition, let us inform you that the Rwandan Senate has decided to increase the capacity of the Rwanda Mines, Petroleum and Gas Board on matters pertaining to the research of minerals countrywide, as well as when it comes to education issues focused on the profession of mining. We have the details.
During its inquiries, the Senate Standing Committee on Economic Development and Finance found that most mining companies in the country operate without knowing how large the mineral deposits they are working on are. Some areas were found to possibly contain mineral reserves, but no mining licenses had yet been issued, resulting in illegal activities. This while the Rwanda Mines, Petroleum and Gas Board lacks funds to carry out extensive research in such areas. Small mining companies use outdated methods to extract the minerals, resulting in reduced productivity, and even when allocated large areas to do their mining, but first expected to expropriate local residents, most find them unable and resort to focus on only small areas. The conditions under which most miners in work are just as troubling, with 21% having been found to have contracts and most paid only according to what they are able to extract on a given day. Few are covered with insurance despite the risks it constantly take to make a living, and none go for checkups to assess the impact what they are doing has on their health. The alarmed senators called for something to be done about the situation. 524 students completed their studies at those two schools, but only 74 got jobs, or 14% of the original number. At the same time, the committee's report cites a lack of manpower and expertise in the industry. There is still a problem of people being required to make substantial investments while having no idea of the potential returns. We are also aware of many accidents taking place in quarries. Then there is illegal mining that was highlighted just now. So my question is, why don't local leaders who are in the best position to support such things carry out their responsibilities? In Muhanga district, the local residents of Nyarusanje sector were pleading for help, saying precious minerals had been discovered on their land and now they have no security. Areas with large rock deposits have seen many nearby communities complain about how all the blasting is damaging their houses, and yet they are not being relocated. In addition, all the dust from the mining activities is affecting their health, their lung conditions, and we have seen this in different areas. It was also pointed out that progress is being made in the mining sector, but that the journey is far from over. You go down mines and they tell you that there are mineral reserves worth $100 million in an area of 400 hectares, but no research was ever done, so that would certainly be a possibility. That means if we were to carry out the research and establish the truth of the matter, anyone digging in the area would first need to recognize how minerals are treated and abide by the regulations, because we did have them. In fact, many of the laws in the society came from the mining sector because it was among the first to spring up in the country. That is the reason the treatment of workers is so important. The plenary session of the Senate chamber agreed to increase RMB's capacity to do research, purchase equipment, and ensure capacity building, among other things. In 2019, research found that 52 areas had mining potential, 37 had permits issued for them, 10 had none, and 5 were located in national parks that are protected. Preliminary finds found that the country has mineral reserves amounting to more than 112 million tons, worth more than $153 billion.
We came back to it in our headlines. The heads of state of the 7 member states of the East African Community are expected to meet in the community's headquarters in Arusha, Tanzania for the 23rd EAC Heads of State Summit. What should we expect from this particular meeting? Prince Manzi explores more.
The request of Somalia to join the community is among the top discussing points at the 23rd EAC Heads of State Summit slated for Friday. The Secretary General of the East African Community, Peter Mathuki, reveals that all the 7 heads of state confirmed to participate in the summit in Arusha, Tanzania. Before the summit, the heads of state are expected to attend the summit on food security and climate change on Thursday.
Because we must have a conversation to ensure the people of East Africa are food secure. And therefore, this is a very important event where heads of states are committing to the people that they are concerned about their welfare when you come to basics like food. And that is why the heads of states have committed to be here personally to come and demonstrate to the people of East Africa they are listening to the issues affecting them. And one of the basic things is about food security. And that is why we, as they meet on 24th, it will begin with their conversation tomorrow about that.
Other talking points expected in the 23rd EAC Heads of State Summit include instabilities in Eastern DRC, trade and challenges still faced.
They'll be discussing about the future of this community. The community is growing. You all remember that the community started as 3 partner states, and now we are 7. And we are expanding. We are likely to have even more going forward. And those are the decisions that heads of state will be discussing tomorrow. But they will also be discussing about peace and stability in our region. Because you cannot prosper, you cannot grow as a community if we are not stable. And therefore, that remains a key agenda on how we continue supporting stability of our region and particularly Eastern DRC.
The heads of state are also expected to discuss on the single currency policy in the region, a journey that started in 2012 and it is to be implemented in 2024. The summit is taking place as there are still economic and political challenges affecting the citizens' social welfare and their development. On Wednesday, there also started an exhibition demonstrating the partnership between the East African Community and the German Agency for International Cooperation, GIZ, for the past 25 years. Prince Manzi, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Prince. And we'll transition it to health matters. The Rwanda Biomedical Center has announced a plan to conduct a research that will reveal why 98% of mothers take their children to get their first dose of measles vaccine, but only 87% return for the second dose.
At one of the health centers in the city of Kigali, there are 9-month children to receive the first measles and rubella vaccine.
It is for our own good. I cannot miss out on taking my child for vaccination. I brought my child for vaccination so as to prevent future problems.
Every year in Rwanda, there are more than 40 cases of measles, and the majority of them are the people that came from other countries into Rwanda, including the elderly. Officer in charge of vaccination services at the center noted that the number of children who receive the first dose is higher than those who receive the second dose.
In general, mothers participate at a good average rate, but not all of them complete the vaccination doses as they started. The percentage is around 95% at 9 months, and it reduces to around 78% by the time children reach 15 months.
A research will be done to uncover the cause of this issue.
A survey that will be conducted by University of Rwanda recently, that survey will be supported by UNICEF, and they will give us the reason behind, they tell us the reason. After survey findings, we can tell you the reason. The coverage of immunization in Rwanda, according to the measles and the rubella, is 98% for measles and the rubella 1. For measles and the rubella 2 is 87%. So do you understand that the coverage is reducing from measles and the rubella 1 to measles and the rubella 2.
Rwanda is one of the 15 countries selected by the International Alliance for Vaccines to receive measles and rubella vaccines next year, 2024. Last year, measles patients worldwide increased by 18% to more than 9 million, while the number of deaths increased by 43% as the total number reached 134,200 people. The World Health Organization revealed that 22 million children worldwide have not received measles and rubella vaccines. 6 among the countries with high measles rates include Ethiopia, India, Madagascar, Nigeria, Pakistan, and DR Congo.
To agriculture now. Some farmers express ongoing challenges in obtaining improved seeds, significantly affecting their farming endeavors. Nevertheless, the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources expressed its commitment to addressing this issue through the ongoing implementation of the strategic plan for agriculture transformation. We do have the details with Olive Nete.
Initiated in 2018, the fourth strategic plan for agriculture transformation prioritizes elevating agriculture and livestock productivity with a primary focus on mitigating the impacts of climate change and other various challenges. The program under the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources has successfully expanded irrigated areas and boosted production per hectare. Despite these achievements, some farmers continue to face challenges in accessing improved seeds. We buy the seed of beans on our own, and you know that a kilo of beans is expensive. It is at 1,400 Rwandan francs to 1,500 Rwandan francs. And when we cultivate any kind of seed, whatever productivity we get from it, we appreciate it, because we do not have any other choice. They only provide us with improved seeds of maize. The challenges we face when it comes to these seeds is that they do not provide enough productivity. They are just seeds that are not improved, and these seeds of beans that are not improved, they do not provide enough productivity. In a 3-day conference convened in Kigali, diverse institutions in the agriculture sector are discussing on strategies to construct resilient and sustainable food systems. The Minister of State for Agriculture and Animal Resources, Eric Rwigamba, highlights ongoing initiatives in the distribution of improved seeds. The goal is to empower every farmer to increase productivity.
In this meeting and the new strategy, we want to say, how do we address climate change? How do we increase irrigation? How do we increase the use of improved seeds and fertilizers? How do we increase the capabilities of our farmers to be able to deploy these technologies? How do we increase extension services, post-harvest, and most important that I love most, aggregation. We produce food and sometimes it ends out being either wasted or taken out of the country. So these are the discussions, and we are looking forward to an exciting moment, which will give us a strategy that serves our needs.
Over the past 3 years of implementing the fourth strategic plan for agriculture transformation, the allocated budget for activities was 1,235 billion Rwandan francs. However, only 939 billion, equivalent to 76% of the required amount, became available. This budgetary constraint has posed a significant challenge, impeding the achievement of various targets. Consequently, certain regions still experience low productivity. Partners involved in the program emphasized the critical need to enhance the productivity of nutrient-rich crops.
We run programs that help small and medium enterprises who are producing nutritious foods, things like fruits, vegetables, eggs, dairy, fish. We help them get access to finance through blended finance, and we help them get access to technical assistance. We also help with fortification of staple foods, which is where you add vitamins and minerals like iron and zinc to things like wheat flour and rice. And we help with scaling up biofortified crops. These are foods that are rich in nutrients, and we want them to get into markets very well.
The fourth phase of this program will end in June 2024 and has significantly contributed to expanding irrigated land. The area under irrigation has increased from 48,508 hectares in 2016-2017 to 71,585 hectares in the fiscal year 2022-2023. The national target is to further increase irrigated land to 102,284 hectares by the fiscal year 2023-2024. Current figures indicates that 86% of large-scale farmers are adopting improved seeds. In contrast, 36% of small-scale farmers have embraced using these seeds. The use of agricultural additives has led to a substantial boost in yield, escalating from 32 kilograms per hectare to 70 kilograms per hectare. Olive Nete, RTV News.
Creative and culture industry practitioners find that even though there is a lot that have been done in this particular sector, there is a need to break various barriers that are still the hindrance or that are found, including high costs of production. We do have the details with Adam Squizera.
So the research was consulted with over 150 artists.
The British Council today launched a creative and culture industries mapping research report in Rwanda, which demonstrated the current state of the creative industry, as to also reveal that even though there are still progress that have made compared to where it was in 30 years ago, but there is still a long way to go due to the challenges that are still faced by the practitioners.
Most of the challenges we found, mostly the first one is access to finance, also to have a secure income in the industry, because most of artists, they are obliged to do other things on the side to be able to survive. So there's art being able to generate income for the artist, but also there's also how artists can get access to grants or finance to be able to create their work. There's also a lot challenge around production costs, because there's a lack of enough equipment, especially if you talk about music, the things that you can't be able to find locally if you want to master your music album, if you want to do a film post-production. So the cost of production is expensive, but also sometimes the needs or the material needed to be able to come up with a quality product is also a challenge. There's a lack of spaces, infrastructure that are medium size that can accommodate, especially emerging artists. If you want to start your journey as an artist, you start probably in front of an audience of 100 people or 200 people. The existing venues, but are they really equipped to host or showcase artists? So those are the key challenges we found.
However, Abdi Hassan, the country director of British Council in Rwanda, finds that the only solution to break these barriers that still affects these creative and culture industries in Rwanda is to empower the practitioners, since the majority of them are youth.
Sharing a snapshot of how the sector is looking like, and it identified a number of areas, whether it's capacity building, whether it is access to market, whether it's livelihood. All of those areas are areas that we're already working with the government of Rwanda through a number of governmental agencies to look at how can we remove any challenges and remove any barriers of young people who are in the arts sector, particularly in what we call the culture and creative industries. It's really important to work with policymakers to ensure that any challenges, any problems, any issues are dealt with. And I think it is very commendable, the work the government and the work that the government is doing, which is a lot in this area, looking at how can we include culture and creative industries in the National Strategic Plan. And we heard today from Ambassador Robert on this is a political priority for the Ministry of National Unity and Civic Engagement.
Creative industry is one of the sectors that provides jobs to many people, especially youth, as was indicated by the National Institute of Statistics in 2019, that 5% of the country's GDP came from the creative industry and other related services. Adam Squizera, RTV News.
Plumbers request institutions in charge to address issues that are still found in this sector. The Rwanda Standards Board demonstrated its readiness to support them. We do have more with Prince Manzi.
All of those challenges.
In the discussions with the professional plumbers and the Rwanda Standards Board, issues still found in this sector were demonstrated, as they even affect the hygiene and standards of houses across the country. Philbert Zimurinda is the National Metrology Division Manager at the Rwanda Standards Board.
Twavuga nko kudatandukanya amatiyo ajyana amazi meza n'amabi.
I can say, for instance, not being able to differentiate clean water pipes and used water pipes. Bad smell rising from bathrooms in houses that acquire many people, and all of these require modern skills.
Buhamye kugira ngo bikorwe neza bishingiye no kwiri iterambere ry'igihugu.
Plumbers say that most of the issues found in the houses result from owners that prefer using cheap equipment, but yet substandard. Nevertheless, there are plumbers that badly install equipment, and this is one of the issues rising from not having an association of plumbers.
Challenge is to have some people who works as plumbers who are not really plumbers, because when they are doing the piping or the installation, sometimes they do it wrong because they don't really know why do we have to do this. Second is the problem with customers, customers' mindset. Most of the time customers ask you to do the job. Mostly they like to use cheap materials, and they don't like to spend much more cost, while a house should need some basic equipment which must be installed in houses.
In these discussions, resolutions included that every institution present had to perform its duties effectively to support the efficiency and professionalism in plumbing.
And that's all from us here at RBA's Rwanda Television News. On behalf of the entire news production as well as the technical team, we thank you very much for being with us. And up until next time, stay safe and have a great evening.